Closer Look is a public affairs presentation. Opinions expressed by some of our guests may not reflect the views of Air One, and some topics aren't suitable for children. Air One is committed to community. Closer Look continues now with a look at local agencies, events, and issues.
Welcome to another edition of Closer Look. I'm Jason Craig, and we're taking a closer look at poverty and food insecurity. I'm speaking with Amy Perry, Director and Executive Pastor of the Hope Connexion here in Hope, Arkansas. Welcome to the program, Amy.
Thank you for having me.
Take me through the journey of poverty and food insecurity. What have you seen firsthand?
The biggest thing that I have seen here in Hope, Arkansas is that poverty and food insecurity is not, I don't think, what people think it is necessarily. People look at poverty in a different lens sometimes of people living on the streets, people that are home adjacent, and that's not necessarily the norm. We have people that I see that are mothers and fathers that are working two jobs or really do have good jobs, minimum income, and they have their kids, but they're not able to make ends meet in today's society. And so when they're having food insecurities, they're not able to go to the grocery store and buy the produce that they need to keep the nutrition going in their families. Instead, they're buying the cheap processed foods that they can afford. And sometimes it's not the health nutrition that the kids need or that they need to be able to keep going. And so it's not what we always think it is or what we think it looks like. It's a lot different, especially in today's society.
So you mentioned that often with poverty, families can have multiple jobs trying to support their family and are still struggling. Why do you feel that families are struggling so much?
I think sometimes it has to do with our economics that are happening today. I mean, we can look at our inflation. We can look at how much just a carton of eggs cost from what it would cost just 5 years ago, 6 years ago, how much a gallon of gas cost. And, you know, a lot of people haven't gotten raises to match what things cost nowadays. And so I even see when people normally had donated to our organization in the past are now coming and asking for help. It's sad to see because they're struggling. Our economy has not matched what people are making in today in the workplace.
You mentioned before the program about generational poverty. Can you talk about that?
We see a lot of generational poverty, and I think it has a lot to do with a mindset and attitude. Some people have just never been taught or learned how to manage finances or were taught how to dig themselves out of poverty. We here try to teach people how to fish instead of giving them a fish. And we have gotten into where we have a lot of organizations with well-meaning that do very well and do help people, but we have to change our mindset from being a society that gives hands out to giving a hand up. By doing that, we're helping people get out of generational poverty by education, by sustainability, by helping them learn new things. And it's a holistic approach that helps our community. And it lifts the conversation up. What more can I do to help my community do better, look better, feel better? Because it's about helping the families.
What barriers do you feel are in place that keep families from receiving help or even education on something they don't know? Do you feel it's a sense of embarrassment coming from their situation?
Yeah, some of it is embarrassment. There's a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different situations. You see drug use, you see fear a lot. The embarrassment is a big one, I think. And when I leave this building at night, we'll park around the corner and you'll see people pull up to get food out of our food boxes, to get food out of our garden. They won't come during the day, but they'll come in the evening because they don't want anybody to see them. And it's sad because there's nothing to be embarrassed about. That's what we're here for. We're here to help each other, to uplift each other.
What is the connection between poverty and crime?
I think there is a difference between correlation and causation. You know, you have drug use, you have violent crime, and those things can cause the poverty situation in our community. Those things do cause the hunger situation in our community. hunger doesn't necessarily cause poverty or cause crime necessarily. I don't think there is necessarily a connection. Is there a part that can be a small part that's played in it? Sure. But like I said, there's a difference between correlation and causality.
Thanks for joining us. This is Closer Look. I'm Jason Craig with my special guest, Amy Perry, Director and Executive Pastor of the Hope Connection here in Hope, Arkansas. To learn more, you can visit their website at thehopeconnection.com. Tell me about the history of the Hope Connection.
Well, the Hope Connection started out back in 2019. My husband and I, we were traveling through looking at the church here in Hope, Arkansas, the Church of the Nazarene, and we were asked to come and be a part of the church, to restart the church and sell the church and do a restart. So we renamed it the Hope Connection because we wanted to connect with the community and we wanted to do something a little bit different. So the first thing we did is we sold the church, we moved it into my home, and we started off with 3 members. And the first thing we did is we started a jailhouse ministry in the Hempstead County Jail with Overcomers in Christ, an addiction therapy group, and Bible study. And from there started to lead to other ministries that we started doing. We started thinking about what more can we do in the community, because we know there's food insecurity. So let's look at how do we feed our community. So we saw the library boxes that communities had where you take a book, leave a book. So we thought that'd be great for self-sustaining food. So we created the Blessin Boxes and we put those through town so the community can get involved. So we can leave food, take food, but be blessed. So one ministry grew from another ministry that grew from another ministry. And in August of 2020, we were able to buy the old title company building across the street from the jail. And we started the Hope Connection Outreach Center, moved it from my house to the facility we're in today. And from there, we have grown in with the Blessin Boxes, the Blessin Garden, and several other ministries that we have running out of this building to help outreach in the community.
Let's talk further about your services. Tell me about your outreach center.
We try to provide as much services as we can. Sometimes we're not able to help, but we're going to find an organization that can help. One of the services we do, we're a cooling and warming center. So in the summertime, during the day, we will be open when the heat index is over 100 degrees. So those that are on the streets, or maybe those individuals that can't afford to keep their air conditioning on because electricity bills are so high, or those that may not have electricity, they can come here and hang out during the day. They don't need an ID or anything. They can come and sit and be in a cool place during the day. In the wintertime, when the temperature gets dangerously cold, we'll stay open in the evening from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. overnight, and we provide a warm place for those that are either out on the streets or lose their heating, pipes freeze, whatever. They can come here, they can stay the night and have a warm place to stay. We also have our learning center, which has our computers. Like I said, people can come in and get their IDs, social security card, resumes, do schooling, whatever their needs are. We have some people that just come in here and grab books that are donated from the college or the schools just to sit and read. We have our Blessin Boxes through town. We have one in front of our building, one in front of the Chamber of Commerce, and one in the parole office. The other one's located in front of, over by Super One grocery store. And we have one that is finishing being built in front of our housing authority. And those Blessin Boxes are where you can keep shelf-stable food, and it's a community-driven effort. So anybody in the community can either go and take an item out to help, have that extra can of vegetables or whatever on their dinner table. Or if you have a can of beets that you don't like or whatever, you can leave a can there for somebody else. If you need a blessing, take it. If you want to be blessed, leave it. But above all, be blessed. And then we have our community garden. And that goes on all year round. People can come and work in our garden. People can come and get whatever they need. We try to grow a variety of vegetables. We have blueberries and blackberries and fig trees and fruit trees. We grow herbs. So we try to keep it going. And between the boxes and the Blessin Garden, we push out of here about 2,500 pounds to 3,000 pounds of food a month into the community. So it's one of our bigger ministries that we do here.
You do offer insight about what you grow in your garden, and then also you teach how to grow a garden. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're very fortunate. I actually have 2 master gardeners. Pastor Jen, who's our associate pastor, she is one of our master gardeners, and I don't know how we could really survive without her, to be honest with you. Anytime somebody comes up and if they have a question about gardening, or we get a call from the grade school, from one of the teachers that want to bring a class over to teach about gardening, we will stop what we're doing and we will go out and show them, yeah, this is how you garden, this is what you need to grow this plant. We try to grow heirlooms because we want people to be able to try a different variety of vegetables too, and teach them how do you cook this? What do you do with it? How do you eat it? But it's also teaching them, again, about sustainability. It's also teaching them about volunteerism, too. As I go back to, it's an important thing. And so, yeah, it's part of a mentoring program that we try to keep going through here, too. If you have a skill, use it. You can also teach somebody a new skill. You can learn a new skill. And in all of that, you can also start mentoring, which is a fabulous thing.
Speaking of mentorship and then also teaching new skills, I want to quickly touch base on the Learning Center. We were discussing before the program how you offer a variety of resources and connections for those who are seeking resume rebuilding, GED studies, even learning where to go for Social Security or to get their ID. Can you talk about that?
So, yeah, we have a list. It's called the Hope Connexion Resource Guide and Checklist. And basically what it is say like somebody comes in and they're looking for identification or legal stuff. Could be anything as far as legal stuff goes. We will have a list of organizations and individuals that they can contact. It's like a checklist. This is where you go to get your ID. This is where you go if you need legal information on wills or whatever, housing or food, unemployment, any kind of resources. So it goes back to that philosophy of teaching them how to fish. We don't have the resources to do it for you, but we're going to give you a checklist to show how you can do it yourself. Because when you give somebody the opportunity for them to do it themselves, they take more pride and it gives them that responsibility. If you do it for them, then it's just given to them. They don't take more responsibility for it. So this helps people not feel so dependent on somebody else to resolve their issues. Instead, they can take some pride in it to resolve the issues themselves. So we provide them a checklist of all sorts of resources that they can tap into. It helps them through in the community, and then they get to know people within the community that way. And they also get to be able to touch base. And we have found that using this checklist, it also has helped a few people find jobs very quickly that way, because they're able to contact and make connections that they normally wouldn't have before.
You also have a job board at the entry of your building where you can find helpful items that you may need. Also, you have different flyers from a variety of organizations, their contacts.
We keep a job listing board up of jobs in town, restaurants, different companies will contact us and say, hey, I'm looking for such and such. I've got this position open. We're looking to hire. And we will put that information up on the job board. We also have a table out front that has a variety of items that are on there. It can be hygiene items, socks, books, you name it. Sometimes we have food out there, and it's for anybody. They can come in and they can take, it's free items. The brochures we keep out there, because we have people that come in that have a variety of things. Sometimes people come in here, they know they need something, but they don't know what it is that they need. And so having all that information out there for them to look at, then they can figure out what it is that they need and what it is they want. Because you would be amazed how many people come in here and they're like, I just don't know where to begin. I just don't know where to start. This is what's happening, but where do I go? And so giving them that information can help them.
Thanks for joining us. This is Closer Look. I'm Jason Craig. She's Amy Perry. Director and Executive Pastor of the Hope Connection in Hope, Arkansas. Want to learn more? You can stay connected with us at thehopeconnexion.com. That's the Hope, CONNEXION.com. Let's talk a bit about your partners. You have a variety of partners that serve in different areas, from the Learning Center to your Blessin Boxes. Can you share a bit?
Yeah, we have a variety of partners that work with us. So we have the ecumenical community. All the churches in town work with us. So the churches will see a need that we have. For example, one of our churches in town knew we needed 90 bags of topsoil for Blessin Garden this year. And they went and purchased the 90 bags of topsoil that we needed. The church community is amazing here in Hope. They just come together because they realize we're not about competing with each other. It doesn't matter what theology, we're all doing the same thing. We're trying to help our community. So they come together and they help the outreach center with whatever needs might be taking place. The businesses in town help as much as they can by donating. You know, if we need spare parts for something, or plumbing. If we've had a plumbing issue, we've had a plumbing company come out and just do plumbing work for free. We've had construction companies come out and help with construction that we've had on the building and have volunteered their time and materials. We've had businesses that have donated financially to help us so we can keep our lights on and keep the water going to run our gardens. Whatever the need is, they pay attention. And they also do food drives. We've had several of the banks do food drives. Several of the banks have done water drives. They also get their employees involved.
You also have organizations that sponsor boxes in your garden.
So we have this drive that we do. So if you're a family that wants to have your own garden box, and you plant the food, and you will take that food for yourself, for your family, it's $50 a year. And then nonprofit organizations can pay $100 a year, and all the food that they have in that box will go to the community. And then we also have businesses and organizations that will pay $250 for a box for a year, and all that food also goes back into the community. But they get their name on the box, so the community can see who's sponsoring a box and who's involved in getting food back into the community and helping. And all that money, what it does is it helps offset our expense for water. So the garden box sponsorship is really a great way for people to see who's involved, how they're involved, and helping us keep our lights on and keep water flowing and keep our community fed.
All right, Amy, I'm hearing about your organization for the first time. I own a business, or I'm just looking for ways to give back to the community. Where do I start?
The best way is I tell everybody, come and visit the Outreach Center. Come and take a tour of the Outreach Center. Come and see what it is that we're doing, because we have a lot of things that we do here, a lot of different ministries that we're doing here. And one ministry may not fit you, but something else that we're doing may. And that may be the niche that your company needs to get involved in, whatever it may be. So the first place you start is just come down here and visit. I tell everybody that I talk to that same thing. Come visit the Outreach Center. I can tell you what we do. I can try to explain it the best way. But when you actually come and see it and see the people that come in, it has a very different impact.
Before we close, is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, people have asked us in the past, why do we spell the Hope Connection with an X? John Wesley is our grandfather of our theology, and he spelled connectionalism with an X. And the reason why we named it the Hope Connection with an X is because we want to get that connectionalism with our community, and for other people to have that connectionalism in our community. And not only that, having connectionalism with Christ. That's what was so important with us. We're not out to thump people on the head with Christianity or religion, but what we're about is showing God's love. And what we're about is the Great Commission, and going out and doing everything we can, everywhere we can, as much as we can, whenever we can. And we're doing it out our front door. You don't have to go overseas. You don't have to do something big. Sometimes it's just doing something little, as planting a little seed.
I'd like to thank my guest, Amy Perry, Director and Executive Pastor of the Hope Connection here in Hope, Arkansas. For more information on the Hope Connection, email us at closerlook@air1.com. That's Closer Look at air1.com. That's Closer Look. I'm Jason Craig.
This has been Air One Closer Look. Find us online at air1.com.